Hello, welcome today. This is Richard with American Latino Magazine, and today we have with us Ruben Chavez with Fifth Street Steak and Seafood. Welcome, Ruben.
Welcome, Richard.
Thanks for granting me this interview. Well, as you know, our magazine, it's all about inspiring people. You know, people like you that struggle through life, and then in the end, you end up with you're following your dream, in the restaurant business. Tell me a little bit about your background. How did you end up here? Did your parents migrate here to the United States? Did you graduate from school here? Did you go to school in Mexico? Or tell me a little bit about your background as a kid.
I remember when I was about 8 years old, my dad used to work in the Swamis, and he used to sell fruit from like season fruit, like I can say watermelons at that time, and then mangoes, apples, and then tomatoes and vegetables and stuff like that. So he was going and buy a lot of the fruits or vegetables at that time, and then we used to resell it at the Swamis.
Now was this in Mexico?
No, that was down in Mexico, in Guadalajara, because that's where I'm from. And then, so it was sometimes that my dad wouldn't go by, and in my case, I had to go and look for other people to help him. And the Swami at that time, it was like on Saturdays. So I will go and ask people like, hey, do you guys need help? And it could be selling shoes. It would be selling clothes. It would be selling CDs, any type of business. So they would know me already because I was already known by my dad. And sometimes other kids will go by and like, oh, your place is already taken. And then I will start like asking people, especially the rich people, do you guys need help with your bags, like carrying the bags? And like, oh yeah, sure, that would be nice. So I will help them carry the bags throughout the Swami, and they will buy items and then put them in the bags, and I will carry them and carry those bags all the way to their cars, and then I will get tipped. So I will look for the ones that will tip better the next week, if that would be the case. And that's I was about eight years old when I started becoming an entrepreneur and like looking for how to make it better for my life. And then
so was this all your family did to survive, or just the Swami?
That was just me, but yeah, my dad was the owner in the Swamis. But again,
so he ran a Swami.
Yeah, not the whole Swami, but just one business, I can say, from the Swami.
So he was running a business in the Swami, selling items and things.
Right,
like that.
And that's where I had to go. And then let's remember that too, that my dad and my mom, they were not married. So I was like, I can say, from a broken family, right? So, but that's what it pushed me out to be what I am now, because I had to go through a lot of struggles. And for example, like I was 8 years old when I had to go and look for jobs, and then my mom used to tell me that I had a family in Michoacan. And to be honest, discrimination is more in Mexico than here among us Mexican people. So I was involved, like being from Guadalajara, you can say you're more of a Spaniard than Michoacan people.
So Michoacan, they're more indigenous, like you were saying, like the people from Oaxaca, versus you start going to the bigger cities, people start kind of snubbing their nose like they're better than everybody else.
Right. And you know what? And actually it's the opposite, because we need to be educated in a better way and respect other people. So when I was about 10, when my mom told me we're going to go to Michoacan and visit my brother, And I go, Michoacan, they're nothing but Indians. And then...
how old were you at this time?
I was about 10 years old. We didn't have a car at that time. So we had to travel through the bus and going over to Michoacan. And then I met up with my tío, my mom's brother. They were not Indians. You know what? I had the best time. I meet up with they were so charming people that I totally kind of want to slap myself for putting people down without knowing. So...
And this is in the early 70s?
I can say that was in the 80s, because I was born in 72. I'm 40 years old now. I was born in 72. So when I was about 10, I can say, yeah, about 82. And then, so yeah, I had a great time. I love Michoacan, man. They have a lot of history there.
How's the life down there? I mean, during that time, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of technology like we have now with the iPhones and the iPads. What do people do for entertainment? I mean, do they live a hard life? Do they work really hard down there? Is it more relaxed than it is up here?
I remember that at that time, Ronald Reagan was the president here. And I remember that the dollar was like $4, 4 pesos compared to a dollar. In Mexico, at that time, I remember used to earn about $3 a day working, because I was working already, so I kind of knew what a $3 would have made worth, like a whole day of work in anything, like especially construction, like fixing cars and stuff. So I know that it was very hard, especially when you don't go to school. Like people that drop out of school, they're the ones that were more struggling, surviving at that time. And I realized that up to now, people that don't go to school, they still in the same problem, even though the economy is a little different from that back then. But if you don't go to school, you don't earn a degree, you're always going to have the same problem. So it doesn't matter if it's about 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, a day ago. You're still going to you're going to be in trouble, because easy, you just don't have any education, any degree in life. So the same problems that your question is that how hard it was, is the same struggle for families, because again, the degree. So I suggest people to go to school.
Now, I noticed that, going on a little different topic here, but it has to do with this. A lot of people, even here in the United States, you get some of the most richest people in the world. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Richard Branson from, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Atlantic, Simon Cowell from American Idol and the X Factor. Do you know what the link is between all of them?
I can say that a little bit experience that I have is that they never finished college.
But some of them didn't even finish high school.
Oh, high school.
And I noticed with a lot of entrepreneurs, especially Latinos, that we have that drive to succeed. I don't know if it's just in our blood, but it seems like with your story, you're saying, there's a lot of people, it's good, go finish your education, it's going to give you an edge. But yet in business, you see so many Latinos that didn't finish high school, and yet they're still successful. Why is that? Did you see that down there when you were in Mexico? Did you see people, like you were saying, your father had a little a stand or whatever at the swap meet, and you started at 8 years old? Was it because you had to survive, or was it something that clicked and said, hey, I could do something here, and because I don't have the education, I could make it up with my charm or with my tenacity? Is that something that you saw when you went to Michoacan? I mean, with other family members?
Well, to be honest, when I was in junior high in Mexico, in Jalisco, I got expelled because I was a troublemaker. I was a good troublemaker. I can say I was never in drugs, but I was part of looking for how to be happy all the time and making stupid jokes that it will get me in trouble. So I got expelled from school.
Do you think if you were in school over here, someone would categorize you as saying, well, maybe the guy has ADD because he can't pay attention?
Actually, yes, I did. I can now from all the studies that I've been gone through school here is I probably had ADD. But then, on the other side, I was always on top of the list, being the smartest guy. Every month, the school used to put up the names of every
like the honor roll,
right?
The top kids.
Yes. So I was always on top of it, like between the first five. And the other side, I was one of the most troublemakers too. And the other list right next to it. So I was in both of them. The only thing that I can say that you don't have to go through all the struggles that we have gone to make it here, and especially here in the States. You have so much opportunity. It's just a matter of people looking for the help. For example, I went to college here. When I came here, even though I got expelled from junior high in Mexico.
So how did you end up here then?
My older brother, Raul, he brought me with some family here that I never met before on my dad's side. And
so your brother Raul had already migrated to the
yes,
he was already making a life.
We already had our green cards and stuff from my prior dad. He was able to come here, and since I got expelled from school, he goes, I'm gonna take you to the States, and then maybe there's a better chance for you to work. The reason why I came here, it was to make $10,000, so I can go back to the Swami down in Mexico and put a little stand and go from there and work for my own instead of helping my dad.
So it was still the entrepreneur thing. You wanted to come up here, make some money, go back there and make more money.
And $10,000, that was it. Back then, it was a lot of money. And I'm talking about 1987 when that was my goal to come here and work in the electronics, because I knew I was going to get a job somewhere up north by Stockton, building electronic stuff. Well, I came here, and then my uncle, my dad's brother, he goes, "You're not going to get a job." I was only 15. So I will pay for you to go to school, to go to high school, and you don't need to pay rent. I took advantage of it. I finished high school. Out of 400 people, I was number 23.
Oh, that's pretty good. And what high school was that?
Wanimi High School.
Wanimi High School.
I was always in the honor roll. And let me tell you, Richard, at that time, I spoke no English at all.
So let's talk about that. Let me backtrack a little bit. In our magazine and in our interviews, we try not to get into politics, but this is an issue that still comes up a lot, where a lot of money is being spent with migrant workers or people from other countries, but on their education, on the medical and whatnot. But you came from Mexico, you spoke no English, and you still you're still in the honor roll in Wanimi High School. How is that possible? Did you have tutors? Did you just figure it out on your own?
I think I went on my own, and let me tell you, I used to tutor people in high school about math, not about English, because I'm still struggling there, but in other subjects, I used to help other people from the States. So I don't want to say it this way, but I think the States are behind and subjects, or I can say like China is always in math,
right?
Like ahead of the game. In Mexico, when I finished, I can say the ninth grade in high school, I already knew what the senior will know, right? So I can say math in Mexico, it's a little bit more of a advanced than here. So that was great for me because I was helping other people. And then when I went to college, I went to the community college. I was a tutor for math, Spanish. I was in the dean list in college too.
Wow. So you're basically on the honor roll in Mexico. You go through Wanimi High School. You're on the honor roll there. and you go to college and you're basically on the dean's list. You're following the same pattern.
Yes.
But what was it that drove you to be able to learn the language and to go through school? But what was burning inside you to keep you going? Was it, did you see the American dream? Because originally you said you came up here wanting to make $10,000 to go back to Mexico, but now you're here longer. What kept you here?
I guess the way I seen it is that you have everything that you need here in the States. And again, I will repeat it. It's up to you to go and look for it. It's just a matter of open those doors that you want to go through and become better and successful in this life. Because I wouldn't be so successful here in the States if I wouldn't stay. If I would have been in Mexico, I would have been successful, but not as much as here. And then especially like all the help there's around here. It's just a matter of you searching help.
So it's all the resources that are available.
Right.
It's a little bit harder back in the homeland.
Yes.
Find those resources.
Definitely. In Mexico, if you're hungry, you're hungry. Here, you can go to different places and get help by the government because we have everything here. And this is my question sometimes, people that were born here, they have, they got the language, they have the citizenship. And this is, maybe I'm going to say this, sometimes when you become from another country, you become with a dream that you want to be better in life and having the opportunity to be here in the States. And you make it happen. You're hungry for success.
In your life, when you're growing up, when you're talking about when you're being hungry, you're talking about like, I'm not going to have something to eat. I mean, we're going to be struggling here if we don't go out and make it on our own because, like your parents, they didn't have a regular job, right? They had the little business at the swap meet. So if it was a bad month, right, you don't have anything to fall back on. And here you're saying there's more opportunity to tap into resources where, you don't have to struggle as much as you're building your business.
Right. Because you get help. You can get a lot of help from the government here. In Mexico, you're on your own. And I think...
What do you mean by help? What type of help are you talking?
For example, here, you got weak. You got food stamps and all that. In Mexico, you don't have that type of help. So when you're, let's pretend...
So you're saying is that if it got really, really ugly, there's always something there that can help you to carry you through while you're still trying to pursue your dream. So it's not about taking advantage of the system and saying, I'm going to come up here and get on food stamps, or anything like that. It's about if you do fall on your back, there's something there that can help you while you can still pursue what you really want to do.
Exactly. Because if you want to fall into that where you're going to be getting help by the government, like getting food stamps, you're always going to be that person. Instead, there's not a problem to get help, but then you got to realize that you got to tell yourself, you know what, it's a great experience for me to succeed, and I don't want to be always getting help from people. I want to be here to help other people instead of getting help. And it's a great feeling because I have helped a lot of people around here. And maybe that's why I've been blessed by helping a lot of people because I know what I went through. Let's remember that
You have the desire to do something different.
Yes.
Because my next question has to do with, in the United States here, the last couple of years, we've had a real bad economy. Everybody knows a lot of people have been struggling, and people feel like they were on the roadmap to the American dream, and now they end up on the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. They're losing their houses, they're losing their businesses, and even though, you struggled in Mexico, right? You came up here, you're on the honor roll, you're trying to build a life, but it wasn't always easy as well in business, right? You're telling me what happened. You went through a divorce. How did you deal with that? And then at that time, you're thinking of maybe going into a business. What drove you to say, hey, I just got to change. I have to do something here. And I have kids, that I got to support. I have a dream. Are you going to let your dream just go down the toilet, or are you going to stand up and take the bull by the horns? How did you end up there? I mean, how did you end up here with the restaurant?
Back in 1990, I opened my first restaurant here in Oxnard, and then I bought the second one that I was doing bad, and then I bought another restaurant about a month later.
How did you buy that restaurant? Let's say someone here listening to wants to start a business. How did you end up? I mean,
you know what? You have again. You can.
Was it a big restaurant, a small little restaurant?
There were mom and pop restaurants. It was not a big restaurant, but I can say any type of business that you start, it might take about 1 employee to 20 employees. It will be the same responsibilities to be taken care of. But again, I started the first one, and I can say it was about 20 employees. That I learned a lot because it was my first time, but then saving money on the side always. And I can tell you, my mom, when I used to go to work when I was 8 years old, she goes, if you earn $1, 50 cents is for you and 50 cents is to pay your responsibilities. So I always will put 50 cents on the side. And I think this is one of the informations that we don't have, that sometimes you will get sick and that money is there, you have extra cash to pay for the doctor. So I always been like that.
When did you have that why not me light bulb that went off in your head that, I can open up a restaurant? Were you working in a restaurant?
Yes, I used to work at the Casa Sirena back then. I used to work at the Capistranos Mandela Beach Resort as a waiter, but I always wanted to have on my own. So I always had that little.
You don't want to work for someone else.
No, and it was so nice that I used to have a lot of fun working for somebody, and I couldn't imagine working for myself. This is one of my goals, that I want to have a restaurant, and by saving money.
You're what, 30 years old at the time?
No, at that time I was about 21, 22.
Wow.
So ever since then, I started saving money. I met a lot of people, and I wanted to learn which in the restaurant business, what it takes about the service in the front of the house, the kitchen, and also the bar, the full bar. So there are 3 categories.
So for someone that wanted to get into this type of business, you recommend that they really need to work all aspects of the business before they just go out there, because it's not easy, right? Because you failed.
For example, you can see somebody backtrack again. There's some people they don't want to do anything around here. So now, when you go back and you see somebody not doing the job, it's your money. So you can tell those people, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do the job that you're supposed to do. That means I don't need you. Right. So if I do it for you, that means you're out of here. Or show me that you want to stay. And that's when you make people like, oh, you're right. You gotta make people realize that we are in a different time, that you need to work harder than.
Yeah, because it seems that sometimes you get people that don't realize that if they're just going in and they're punching the clock, and they don't realize that money's coming from somewhere. It's not coming from the government. I mean, if you run a business, for every dollar that you're losing by someone not being productive, you have to make it up almost twice as much by doing more marketing and whatnot. So when it's your own money, it's a little bit different, right? You started your own business, and you have to watch that, or else you're going to struggle. So,
right.
But what happened with those restaurants? Did you keep them going? Did you sell them, or and what kind of struggles did you go through as you were trying to build them up?
The main problem is that when I took over, I made them very successful, my business, but then that's when the big problem came, when the Twin Towers came down, and 9/11, and that's when the economy went bad. So I struggled so much that I was not doing good. I was doing enough to survive. I had to get rid of them because my marriage wasn't the way as well.
Now, was that because you were working too hard?
I was working too much. I was working, like, coming from one business to another business to another business, and I was taking the whole day. I was never at home. So.
And at that time, were you the only one paying the bills, or was your wife working too?
She was working as well, but I had to work extra to pay the bills from the other 3 restaurants. I ended up selling other businesses, and then divorce came by. I went to live in my car because I had a brand new home. I customized a brand new home that I wanted. I do have 2 kids. Ryan is 10. Joshua is 13. At that time, I can say that was about 5 years ago. And I got divorced, and I give her, I provide the whole house. I didn't want to buy for anything. So I give her the house to my wife, so my kids will have a roof to live.
And during this time, you're still trying to run these restaurants? Or
I tried to run one, and then I got rid of 2 other businesses. So
and you're living, and then you decide that's.
I decide to
you're going to move into your car. You have nothing.
Right.
That's time.
And so after selling the 3 businesses, I got a divorce. So since I didn't have a home because I gave it to my wife for the kids, I went to live in my car. I was there for a week, living in my car.
So talking about that week that you're sitting in there in your car, the first night, I mean, what's going through your head? What are you thinking? I mean, that you're doing the wrong thing by going into business?
Not exactly. My behavior and being an adult, I think I overdid it. Therefore, you take charge of your responsibilities at what you've done, and there's nothing better than accepting the wrong things that you've done as a human being. And living in my car for a week, I go, this is not me. I need to step up my game again, since I already had experience on becoming somebody better than what I was yesterday. So therefore, I started renting a room from my friends where I used to live 20 years ago. I started saving money because, again, I have a degree in college, which I never worked into that. But I was able to get another job related to that degree that I have, where I was earning good money. I saved money, and I was able to kind of buy this restaurant again.
And what was your degree at that time? What did you go to school for?
Engineering electronics.
So you went back into electronics temporarily, you saved some money, but you still had that drive that I have to be my own boss, I want to own, and you knew the restaurant business. So at what point did that click again? Was it when you saved a certain amount of money, or did you just get fed up and say, you know what, I'm tired of, the JOB, this isn't for me anymore?
I saved money. You're right. I saved money, and I also borrow money that I'm still paying. But like I say, you have in the States, you have so much help that you can get. It's just a matter of doing the research and getting it. So that's why I'm back in business. Right now, this is the only business.
But at what point in that engineering job, what was it that went off in your head again? Was it an incident, or was it something that you were just missing it? What's that burning passion that you have inside you that I want to be in the restaurant business?
You know what? I always say, and it sounds funny, but...
Let me stop you for a sec. The reason I'm asking is because a lot of people would say, you know what? You have 3 restaurants, you struggle with them, you go through a divorce, you're living in your car, now you got something good, settle down. What the hell's wrong with you, man? I mean, why are you going back into business? There had to have been something that did you visit the restaurant and think, man, I can do a better job than what they're doing here? Or what?
From being a taquero, the first restaurant that I opened, to being in a steakhouse, I think it's one of the dreams that I had, having a high-end.
So the steakhouse was a high-end restaurant in your mind. This is this is it. This is what I've been looking for all my life.
Right. I can say that this is one of the nicest that make me feel good, because I love what I do. There's people that work, there's people that play baseball, professional baseball, but they don't like it.
They're doing it just for the money.
Right. In my case, I don't make it for the money. I'm doing it because I love it. I love to meet people. I love to serve people. And this is just me. And it makes me happy. So if I die tomorrow, this is the way I would like to die, serving the community, being around people.
So how did the opportunity come up with this restaurant? Because a lot of people don't know the history. They think you've been the original owner, but it was actually the restaurant, Fifth Street Steak and Seafood, was here before, right?
Right. 6 people here in Oxnard, they got together and they start building this complex or La Plaza right here. The city of Oxnard asked them to do a steakhouse since it was going to be everything brand new here in downtown Oxnard. So they didn't have experience about restaurants, but they did. They spent about $800,000 just building this restaurant here. For 5 years, they ran it, but it was not successful because lack of experience on running businesses as restaurant business.
Because I remember coming to the restaurant during that time, and I think you'd mentioned it before. You'd walk by, there's a theater here. I mean, all the blinds were down. You couldn't see inside of it. I don't know if it was a pub, if it was a sports bar. I didn't know what it was. So did you see that too? That there was no life to the restaurant at that time.
Right. It was no charming, welcome people here, and it was just like a solid business that if you got money, come in, spend your money, and then go home. And that's it. So there's no atmosphere, there's no ambiance, something that said, hey, I want to hang around here for a little bit, have a drink, watch the game. Nothing. Right. It was nothing like that. So when you go out, you want to be happy anywhere you go. It can be a high-end, like the steakhouse. It can be like a taco stand. But you want to be happy with the people that are serving you. People it's called a customer service. And the food has to be great, too. So I was coming here scoping for 6 months, and I seen what was the problem, and so when it was time for me to take over.
But how did that happen? It's time for you to take over. Did you just decide on taking over, or what was the opportunity? Did the people walk from the restaurant, or did the city put it up for sale? Or
the ex-owners from here, they want to get rid of it because they were losing a lot of money every month to month. That was just wasting money because they were not doing the right thing. So they kind of got to the point where, we need to get rid of this steakhouse. They didn't know what to do. So at the end, I found out that they want to get rid of it, and I really like this place. So I talked to the owner, the guy in charge, and I told him I see a lot of potential in this business. And then I asked the owner, I go, just give me a chance and you will see that I can make it happen. He goes, you don't look like you have experience. And I go, believe me, this place will be happening as soon as you give me the chance. So I was begging for the opportunity. And then the money that I had saved and money that I borrowed from the bank, that helped me to buy this place. And
but for someone starting out, it wasn't like you went in right away and said, hey, I want to buy your business. You went in and you said, hey, give me a chance. So you convinced them that you were going to be the guy that was going to be able to turn this around.
Right.
So for people that are out there thinking that they have to save $100,000, $200,000 to open up their own shop, it's not always the case. You have to look for the opportunity, right? You have to ask.
Right. You got to prove other people that you believe in yourself and you can make it happen. Money is one of the factors that you need to become better. But you can, if you have the drive and you're willing to become successful, talk to those people. Let them know that you really wanted to be something more than what you are now, and some people that have the money, that will give you the chance, and that's when you prove to yourself and you prove other people that you can make it happen.
So it's not always about asking for a handout and asking for someone to mentor you. A lot of times you just have to go for it, and you gotta believe that you can do it. You gotta burn all your bridges behind you and say, "There's no way to go back. I just gotta keep going forward." Right?
Yes, and why I can say that. back in 97, I had a car accident where I was in coma for 5 days. I was in a wheelchair because I broke both legs, and I was not going to be able to walk. I was told by a UCLA doctor that I was not going to be able to walk. And inside of my mind, I go, you know what? You full of crap. I'm going to get up, and I'm going to show you that I can make it happen. And I did. I got up, and for months, I went back to play basketball.
Now you mentioned that earlier on, before the interview, you said that you used to be on a traveling basketball team. Do you think that competitive nature that's in sports gave you that attitude when you were down in the hospital thinking, you know what? I'm not going to live like this the rest of my life. I can make a change. I can walk again.
It's like I used to think about it like, it's great to play for a team. How about when you own a team and you choose who you want to play for you? So this is a lot better. Your potential has to be greater always, even though you play in that team. But you have to look at things like, how about on the other side if I own it? On the team.
But yet at that time, though, you're in a wheelchair, and the doctor's saying your thing is not even, the doctor's not even thinking about even you running or playing basketball, let alone walking. You're thinking, I have to be able to walk first, again, than to be able to play basketball.
Right. Well, in my thinking is like, I was crying. I was crying for the longest. I go, I cannot be sitting in this chair. My role model that I had in mind, it's a kid that I seen on TV, and he was born like that. He was born in a wheelchair, and he was already 14 years old, and he was not he was not going to be able to get up, never ever. In my case, I had the potential because I was not born like that. So I told myself, I rather and I want to be up again. So I put all my mind to get up, and I got better. And I swear to you, and within 4 months, after I cried, after I was not able to reach the phone and answer the phone because I couldn't move. But then you have to have the will and the drive to be a lot better in your mind.
So you had a mindset that you're not going to live your life like this. So you basically set that in your mind first, and that's where it all started.
Yes. You have to set your mind as, you got to ask yourself, is this what I want for the next 5 years? And the reason I say, is this what I want for the next 5 years? Because then you ask yourself about from the 6 to the 10. Is that what I want for the 6 to the 10? So that means if you don't do anything from the 1st to the 5th, the 6th and the 10th,
it's going to be the same thing.
It's going to be the same thing. So that was my question to myself, and I go, I don't want to be in this wheelchair. So I got up, and mindset that what I wanted to do, I went for it. And thank God that living in my car, I was able to become another entrepreneur in this business again. You don't need to have a lot of money. It's just a matter of looking the right people to help you.
So with that said, I mean, you said, okay, you took the opportunity, you asked the owner, give me a chance. They gave you a chance. You start to turn the restaurant around. And then what happened? Did they offer you an ownership, a partnership, or how did that happen?
Since there was a lot of money that they were asking for, I had to find a partner, which is called the silent partner. And then I told them, let me run the business, and you'll be happy later. So
it was like an angel investor.
Yes.
And how did you find that person? That you already know them, or that they know you from the past, from your other businesses?
Right. He used to deliver from paper to poultry to meats, anything to the restaurant business. So since I already had experience on 3 businesses and I knew this guy, the best thing, it was like every month I used to call this guy. It's the end of the month. Bring me the bills because I want to pay you. No one does that around here.
Right.
So he was very surprised with me that I used to call him to pay.
So he knew your business ethics.
Yes.
He knew that you paid on time all the time.
Right. So that's why when I told him, there's this business being offered, what do you think? Should we get it in and take advantage of it? He goes, you know what? With you, I will do that. So that's why we took over this place.
So you never know where the opportunity is going to come from. It's all about the networking, right? Because I noticed that you go to a lot of networking events. You go to the Latino Business Expo. You host a lot of mixers here at the restaurant, and all those people that you network. A lot of people don't realize that you don't know when that opportunity is going to be there, right? And you have to. That's why you have to go out and put yourself out there. And I think that's one of the things that what drove us to do the expo in the magazine was that we want to show people and explain to them that the way you build a business is you have to have the drive, but you also have to put yourself out there, or else nobody's going to know that you exist. So by you paying this guy on time all the time, he knew you, he knew your work ethic. So when the opportunity came, he didn't even have to question it, but it was that networking.
Right. There's a say that it's who you know, not what you know.
Right.
So it had worked for me because through the Expo Latino, because I knew Adam for the longest, and then I met you, and then I met a lot of people, and they love to come to this place. So definitely, the mixers for the Expo Latino has been one of my keys to meet other people and be more successful in life. So just like you're telling me, it's great to do the networking anywhere you go, because people will know you, see how you are, you see that positive energy that you have, and you transfer that to other people. They want to be around you.
Everybody wants to be happy.
Yes.
Right? They want to be part of the good energy, not the bad energy.
Right. And just like I say, there's a day that we don't know when we're going to die. This is the way I want to die. I'm happy. I'm always laughing. I'm always making jokes, having a great time while they come here. And I swear to you, Richard, there's people that will call me, hey, are you at the steakhouse? And I will say, even though I'm not here, I say, yes, I am. And they will arrive to the steakhouse. I go, but I don't have the food. I don't have the drinks with me. They're at the steakhouse. But they want to come in and talk to me and chat and joke around because they have a great time.
So with that being said, I mean, what's next for Ruben Chavez? I mean, do you want to take this restaurant to another level? Do you want to open up a chain, or what? I mean, what's in it?
My dream will be to have a chain. Again, doing my networking, hopefully I can find somebody with lots of money, and they will love to have.
That wants to buy into the energy.
Yes, somebody and I know I will. Somebody that can say, I got the money. I like the atmosphere that you are building with your employees here. Let's do another one. You just run the same atmosphere, and here's the money. Anything that you need is here, and I know it will come along. So
to finish this off, what kind of advice do you have for, let's say, whether they're Latinos or not, young people that want to start a business, but especially like with the Latino community, those that are maybe thinking that they can't do it, or maybe they're just laying around at home, like you said, they're looking at a 5-year plan, which turns into a 30-year plan and doing nothing. I mean, what advice can you give to them for those that want to build a business, from the networking to understanding that you're going to struggle, that you're probably going to fail more times than you succeed? I mean, what advice can you get to someone like that so they're not scared, so they can get up off their butts and say, hey, you know what, I want to do this. I want to start a business because I'm inspired by what Ruben did. Very simple. Is you're having a final within a month. You have 30 days to study for that final, and you know it's going to happen, but you take advantage and you don't study because you know it's only 30 days, and you want to start at the end on the 28th or maybe 29th day. That's when you're going to start studying, and you're kind of late. So you need to be responsible for and your own, where you got to separate day by day and take advantage of all the 24 hours that you have. Learn about what you're going to have at the final test. Don't wait all the way to the end. And
Of course you're going to have struggles, because this life is about struggling, but it's about how you're going to handle the problems. And if you think you're struggling, it's harder than other people, well, don't think that way. Make it happen, because the more that you struggle, the stronger that you're going to be within time. I'm the type of person that I grew up with no dad, even though I used to help my dad, but I never had any help. Or I can say I'm from a broken family too, as other people, not everybody, but that will make you stronger. I'm not the type of person that my dad or my mom had a lot of money. I had to search. I had to earn what I have. I spoke no English back in high school. I didn't have a bike as other people. I didn't have a TV in my room. I didn't have no Xbox. At that time, I didn't have no Nintendo. So I went through all the things that people don't have, and maybe that will be the key when you're hungry for success. Because I didn't have anything, and everything that I have, I earn it. So maybe people nowadays, they got to be more hungry for success in life and look for what they want to do. And you can make it happen. You can do it.
So, Ruben, I just want to thank you for this interview. I think you've shown us that regardless what excuse everybody has, from being poor, going through divorce, being in a wheelchair, all those things becomes a so what. That's everybody, right? And it's all about having that drive and the passion, and you got to be hungry. Because in the end, you got to have that mindset. You got to put yourself out there. If you want it bad enough, like anything else, it's going to happen, right?
That's right. It's just something that I keep in mind is going back to that kid. He was never able to walk, and he will never able to walk. Was your excuse? And you know what? He used to pain with his mouth because he was not able to move his hands or his feet. If you think that you are in a deep, impossible way, there's other people that are worse than you. So get up, do what you got to do, and make it happen, especially now with the Hispanic people here.
Perfect. Well, Ruben, again, thank you. It's been very inspiring, and I'm hoping that it inspires a lot of people out there to go out there and follow their dreams. Thank you.
You're welcome, Richard.